What is up?
We're back.
Look at that. Look at that. We're right back here.
We haven't
Y'all
changed.
there,
We haven't
we're right
changed in
here.
weeks.
No. Nope.
Not
Haven't.
at all.
But today we're going to talk about praxis. And here's the thing. Why is praxis the third pillar? Because you need to create space and time, right, to invest in what it is that you're going to be doing, leading, where transformation is going to take place. You need to create the infrastructure around how you're going to communicate. You need to gain clarity about what it is you're going to be doing, and you need to amplify it. And it's only then that it really makes sense to start acting. Too many times, Christian leaders just start acting, doing things people could clap for, point at, and say that's good, and they don't take the time to hone the community they're serving and their own gifts, abilities, and passions, and build a community that has that synergy. And we want to do that with you, and we want you to join a group that does it, and that's why we really want to hesitate, to wait to getting to the praxis point.
Yeah. So the interesting thing is praxis is pillar 3. Mm-hmm. So you've got time back. You've honed your message. Now you need to create systems for continuous improvement and implementation, right? Otherwise, things just kind of fizzle out.
Yeah.
So for praxis, one of the things that we really focus on is implementing something called lean methodology. And the lean methodology was created way back in the day by Toyota Manufacturing. Then some tech nerds got a hold of it and implemented the methodology in the tech world. And now we're taking it into the faith-based organization and nonprofit space. And really, this isn't that fancy. It's really a process of building things, testing them, and then measuring the results and iterating. And so you create this cycle of, instead of assuming that you know what's best for the people that you serve, or you're assuming that you know what's going to attract the right volunteers, you're going to do a small test. You get some feedback, get some data, and then make another test. We get some feedback, some data. What this does is it saves time, saves financial resources, saves energy, and keeps motivation and engagement really, really high, because people get to participate and co-create with you. So we talk about the theory behind it, and then how you actually can implement it in your organization. It's really, really fun. For me, I learned this in the entrepreneurial business world, and it's helped me build a couple of really successful companies. And what's been most exciting over the past 12 months is implementing this in the church space, because we find that most of the time, people think that they know what's best for the people that they serve. And there's been some major, major, major ahas when you actually get out of the building, you get in relationship and conversations with people about how to help them. Take that, build a test, iterate, keep moving, keep building momentum. It's really, really fun. And I think what you're doing in this pillar is very exciting too, Tripp. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, throughout the pillar, we're going to be working on different spiritual practices and doing it together. Like the cohort that you're going through, do the spiritual practices together, and they are what you could say alternative takes at very classical spiritual disciplines. And really the goal is that part of being a leader and being able to risk, to test, to really look at the results of what you're doing objectively, that is scary. That it is. But if you're doing it in a community, and if you're staying energized and focused and attentive to your own spiritual needs and your spiritual strengths, and also lifting each other up, then it creates a context for, making more riskful leaps towards change than you would if you're doing it all alone.
Yep.
One of the things that popped in my head that I found as an example of doing this is when I was working at a mainline Protestant church, a large one, for 8 years. We every year, right, when you have your like revisioning thing, we're like, we know this community values education because it's full of graduate degrees. We know we love community. Oh, that's clear, isn't it? And so after years of having that, to then having the few people on the board of Christian education and fellowship come up with their 3 ideas they keep rotating through and trying every year, I said, let's just set a goal. Like, what goal is it that we are wanting to get to? We want 40% of the regular attending adults in some community group outside of worship. And until we get there, we're just going to keep trying stuff, and we're going to fail faster, but we're also going to keep learning what actually works, because everyone had ideas. Oh, well, we need more in-home small groups. No, because the way the schedule works for people that live in LA is no one has time that ends up in a home in the evening. So like we had eyes, we're going to have this science and religion group. We have so many scientists. And we spent all this money and time, and 9 people, the ones that wanted to put it on, came to it. But so instead of let's keep it going, let's try something different.
Yeah.
And then it turned out like the things that worked were like a beerable study that is like at a place right next to the interstate on the first Monday nights of every month. The people driving back would all join in, like set like coffee meetup times where you pray for your kids, have a cup of coffee, and there's no other thing. Started to work. But our decision was to just keep trying things till we have 40%.
Yeah.
And it gave you as a leader and those people in that group permission to fail at doing it, because the goal wasn't for some new program to succeed, but for this commitment. And we had to figure out how to bring people together to get to that goal. And it was it was freeing, because it wasn't like this new idea has to succeed. No, our value has to come into being.
Right. And that's one of the things that I love about this methodology, is that there is really no such thing as failure. Failure is only when you do something that doesn't result in any sort of learning. Mm-hmm. So as long as you're continuing to learn something, you're never really failing. You're just kind of focusing in on a different aspect of what you're trying to do. Like you said, you had a metric of 40%, right? So you just try and try again till you find what works there. And I think that having permission to fail forward, as some people like to say it, is really, really powerful. And I think that during this 12-week pillar, we give you that permission to move forward, to try small tests, where the if something doesn't work, it's not going to like break the whole thing, and we give you some examples. We give you actually a full framework that we've developed here, a visual framework to run tests. And we found that really, I think people like to rally around something when it's visual. It's a poster that's on the board that is objective. We can kind of leave emotions at the door so you can't get hurt. It's just a test, right? We're just testing things out. But you can really find things that work and that have a kind of viral nature to it. You'll find that people talk about it. Oh, I went to this thing, this coffee prayer group for children. Like, if you find something that works, it's going to grow pretty quickly by itself. And so this is a framework for finding those things in your community or even outside of your community. If you have a passion to maybe develop something that is outside of your congregation, that is something that you're like, I don't even know how to get started. This is where you find out how to get started.
Mm-hmm. And the coolest part about I think the third pillar in the praxis thing is you are doing something that is risky and scary, but you're doing it with a community of people.
Yep.
And so when you are joining other leaders who want to bring about transformation, and you collectively go, here's what we're passionate about, here's where we're going, and we got to figure out how to keep testing and moving, then it's such a different context than like sitting across other members at a staff meeting going like, did any of my stuff succeed? Because I'm going to emphasize that, because you're always in the assessment and objectivity that exists in congregational life and work together is so rare.
Yeah.
But here is a group of people from all over the place who are wanting to work together, to test each other, to challenge each other, and to be objective in assessing things so you can actually make more progress.
Yeah. So we've got one more video coming up, and it's a little bit of an in-depth kind of overview of how to get involved if you're interested in the certificate in transformational architecture. So if you've enjoyed these videos, you want more, you're going to watch out for that video. You're going to want to engage with us and check out what we're doing, because you have the opportunity to be a part of a cohort of really a global network of architects that are implementing this knowledge and succeeding. And it's really fun.
All right.
We'll see you next video.